Hey folks, Jeffrey Missile with Northman Ventures here. So as you can see, standing in front of the 79 Bronco. Today's been kind of a spring cleaning day. Got the 450 back, and so I needed to give that a good wash. Decided to give the Taurus a wash, and when I was all done, I figured, you know what? The Bronco is parked right over there. Let's fire it up and do a video on it real quick. So this is going to be the first of a couple different videos of projects that I got going on planned for Northman Ventures. This is the first one. Give you a little bit of history on this truck. I bought it, geez, what, 4 years ago, maybe 4.5, from a dude that's right up the road, and he ended up turning out to be a pretty good friend. I go snow machining with his son, at least when he goes snow machining, or when I go snow machining, I should say. But anyway, so we ended up picking this thing up. Long story short, kind of got to be pretty good acquaintances and friends, and I saved this thing for a rainy day. I wanted to do it right because you don't see these big Broncos very often in this kind of shape. I know it kind of looks a little rough, but we're going to do a walk around on this video, and that's what this video is all about, is introducing this rig, kind of giving a video walk around of where it is when I got it. So I haven't made any changes to this thing other than spark plugs, wires, and coil. Other than that, this truck is basically exactly how I bought it 4.5 years ago. I paid $1,400 for it, brought it home, and actually no, I take it back. I paid $1,000 for this thing. Loaded it up, and here it is. And it's been sitting here. Again, I didn't want to start diving right into it. I wanted to plan this build a little bit, and I got some good ideas. And in the last 4.5 years, there's been some products that come out for these things that actually turned out pretty good, and I'm able to change my mind a little bit about what I wanted to do with this. And so we're going to go through it, and I'll talk a little bit about what I got thinking, and I'd really appreciate your guys' input. So if you see something you know that you think I might want to do this instead, just holler out, comment below, and let's talk about it, because nothing's written in stone in this thing, but it's a pretty decent truck. So let me pull this out. All right, this way I can walk around. So let's we're going to start at the driver's corner, do the exterior first, end up at the engine compartment, and then we'll talk about the interior. So let's see. You're not going to see me too much on this one. Mostly going to be the truck. So the truck itself, pretty rust free for the most part, straight body. You know, we're going to get down to the wheel well in a second, but for the most part, this thing is pretty darn stock, good shape. Obviously that's a repop door right there. We'll talk about that in a second. So so typical on the 70s trucks and Broncos, we got the cancer in the wheel wells, both sides on this one. Easy enough. They make patch panels for it. What they don't make patch panels for on the Broncos is the fender extension. So that's kind of a bummer. So when I order patch panels for here, I'm going to order, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but I think I'm going to probably order short bed F150 extensions, lower extensions. Probably going to have to do a little bit of metal work on that to make it look right, but we'll see. That it's kind of a bummer that they don't patch or make patch panels for these. It's probably one of the only pieces that they don't. So, but anyway, so we got a little bit of rust here. Not too bad. The outer fender or the outer wheel housing is in pretty decent shape. I'm going to end up buying one anyway, but I think I can grind this all down and use it. But you know, here, I don't know if you guys can see all that. That's the inside. But anyway, these patch panels are pretty straightforward. They basically make them for right about there. They also make the whole side, but I don't really need it. I could do it for the lower panel, but you know, being in Alaska, shipping on that would suck. And those patch panels are basically just you know, throw in the UPS and send it on its way. So that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't really need the sides. This is all pretty much solid. There's a little bit of an issue right here. I think that I can grind. That's just a little bit of pitting, not too bad. We'll see. The only other issue up here is going to be that little pinhole. Again, I think I can grind that and fill it with weld, but you can see, I don't know if you can see in the video there is some pitting here. We're going to pull this thing off anyway, the top off, and look at it. But basically this whole side is pretty decent except for those 2 or 3 spots. Again, patch panel, pretty easy to do. So coming back around, one of the things I really liked about this, you don't see these types of topper windows too much with the slider. It's not exceedingly rare, but I lucked out because that's kind of exactly what I was looking for in the Bronco. So tailgate, obviously you got the swing out tire carrier. Now one thing on this thing, we don't have any rust down here. It's all just surface stuff, you know, right? All this is just surface, so you don't see that very often in a tailgate. I know it's a little bit crusty on the bottom side, but I think that's just paint. So nothing is really popping over. But we're gonna take that off anyway and take a good look at it. I think I can get by with just fabricating some panels if I need to at all. Oh, check this out. Yeah, I just saw this, so we're gonna have to address that as well. But again, that's just a little bit of metal forming. I don't know if the video can see it, but you got about a 3-inch long crack from here down to about there. That's not a crack, it's literally a rust hole. so yeah, I just saw that. Anyway, the one thing about the tailgate is this hole right here, and which is kind of surprising, that hole being there. There's no rust on the bottom side, you know, just flaking part, you know. Okay, maybe a little bit of rust, but I don't think, it feels like the metal itself is pretty good. This is just some dirt and flakiness. So we're gonna find out when we take this thing apart. We'll pull that off, put it on the bench, and take a better look at it. But seeing as how the front side is pretty good, I think I can get by with at worst just doing the bottom of the insert, or the other side, not the actual panel itself, but the structure on the other side. So that's the only issue with the tailgate right there. So we're gonna, when we pull this off and pull the interior panel, we're gonna see what kind of shape that's in. The other issue, I don't know how well this is gonna show up in the video, but somebody let this tire carrier swing out wide, and it pulled the body panel off. So there's a metal backer plate behind here, and I think it just yanked it. Bottom side looks pretty good. It's just that top end right there. So when we take the tire carrier off, I think I'm going to be able to fix that easy enough. But it's kind of a bummer that people do that. I think maybe just caught in the wind or something, but that's the only issue. And let me get on the other side here. It did, again, I don't know if you can quite see it, but when it pulled it out, it kind of turned it, as you're looking down, it turned it counterclockwise, and it kind of bent in here too. You can kind of see that a little bit in there. So when we pull this off, we'll have a better view on exactly what's going, but I don't think that's nothing to be afraid about. That's just a little bit of metal forming. We're going to put in a bumper mounted spare tire carrier. So I'm going to fix all this, make it so that the factory OEM carrier can be reused. But frankly, we're going to end up building a spare tire carrier bumper and make it swing away that way. Much stronger. It's going to have an integrated winch, all that kind of stuff. So won't need these, but I'm going to fix it anyway. This side, the lower, this is a little good, a little bit of pitting, but we can fix that. That one's not going to be bad at all. Most of it's just surface rust and some pitting. Nothing we're going to be able to not handle. And again, here's the little bit of the wheel well rust. Again, panel is going to get easy enough, right? Let's see about underneath, just for posterity's sake. That's what the outer wheelhouse looks like. But yeah, so that's about it on on the rear end. These are going to be a little bit of work, but again, they make patch panels, so not too bad. You get a little bit of paint flake in here, but none of this is rusty. This is all solid metal. These types of diamond plate running boards, they save your truck. I'm telling you, if you're looking for one of these things and you have the chance or the opportunity, get one that has these diamond plate steps. They literally save the rocker panels on these things. And you'll see on the F-150 it has the same style of running board, and save the rocker panels on that too. So okay, back to the walk around. So this side has the original door. It's all in good shape, no dents, no rust on this one. And the fenders are in pretty good shape too. And this is a pretty straight body when you look at it. So for all intents and purposes, I think this thing has 136,000. I'm assuming it's ticked over. So 136,000 on the odometer. Let's do the top too, since we're here. Hope I don't fall. So the one thing, this thing has one of these little aftermarket sunroofs. I don't know how I feel about it. They did, if I'm angling that right, they did put like a little CB antenna in there or something. But I don't know how I feel about that sunroof. It does leak a little bit. I'll show you when I get into the inside. I do have an extra roof that I can fix that and replace it, but frankly I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. So let me know what you guys think too. I'd be curious. But one thing I have noticed, I can't find parts for that, so I'm going to either have to make it work, or I know on eBay they have universal sunroofs that maybe I can make that work. I don't know. We'll see. They're not as prevalent as they were back in the 80s and 90s. So the hood, pretty straight, no real dents. This is all just flaking from it sitting. I have no idea how long it was sitting. And obviously the windshield, that's cracked and it's going to have to go. Parts of it are getting yellowed a little bit, but for the most part, the grill, pretty decent shape, not too bad. Got a couple little, oh, didn't get that, little dings here, but I think I'm going to be able to use a that one might be a little hard. I think I'm going to be able to use a leather sandbag and pop that out from the back and then polish this thing up. That's the plan. If not, I have an extra grill. It's not for a 79 Bronco, but it's for I believe it's a 76 F-150. So it's the older school, and I've seen some Broncos have those grills. It doesn't look bad, but we'll see if I can't get that thing fixed and get this thing polished up. I really don't want to buy a new one or a repop, because they get really expensive. Here's another little ding right in there, but these are aluminum. It's pretty soft metal. Shouldn't have any trouble getting that out. At least that's the plan, right? Okay, so engine compartment. This is about, aside from the F-150, this is about as OEM as I have seen one of these things for sale. This is as stock as it can get, pretty much, with the exception of that. So they did swap off the original 2-barrel and put the 4-barrel carburetor on there, but everything else in here is OEM. It even has the original ignition control module. It is missing the fan shroud, but those are pretty easy to find. But yeah, this thing's as stock as you're going to get. Now, one of the cool things about this truck, it is factory air, so you can see the air box or air conditioning. At least whoever did this took out the air pressure, but they left, at least they taped everything up. We'll see. That's all gonna get replaced anyway. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this engine. I know it's been rebuilt. I don't know if they did the timing fix to it. This company no longer exists that did the work here in Alaska. It was done out here in the valley in Wasilla. but I have no idea. Unfortunately, I won't be able to find out what exactly they did on the rebuild. I'm hoping that they did the timing change, but to be honest, that motor's coming out anyway, and I got another 400. Oh yeah, I guess this is a 400 with the C6 in the back, and I believe this one has the I don't remember what transfer case this one was. I think it was the 206, but I'm not sure. The F150 in this truck has different transfer cases, and I can't remember which one this one has. But at any rate, so I am going to rebuild. I'm not going to rebuild this one, but I'm going to put a freshly rebuilt 400. I know a lot of people are going to say, do the 460, do the 460. And I could. I got two 460s sitting in the back, ready to go. But the 460 is heavier. And frankly, with the modern technology on what they're doing, especially TM Meyer, he loves the 400, and effectively what you have in the 400 is a long stroke Cleveland motor. It takes all the Cleveland stuff. The only difference is the deck height is a lot higher, so the stroke is longer, but that's okay. You can pretty much do a mild build on these things and get 460 big block horsepower out of these things. No, you're not going to be able to. Well, I mean, you could if you really wanted to dump money in it. You could put some series power to it, but I'm looking at about, my target for this thing is going to be about 475, maybe 500. And out of the Ford 400, you can easily get that without going nuts. And so that's why I'm going to keep it. And it's 160 pounds lighter in cast iron cylinder head form. I'm going to have aluminum heads on it anyway, so it's going to be that much lighter. But point being is, on a small truck like this, I'm not going to need, well, of course you do need horsepower, but 500 out of a Bronco is going to be more than sufficient. The one thing that is going to be an issue, even with that, is this little Dana 44 here. That's the sucker right there. That's probably not going to last. So the overall plan on this thing is to do a Super Duty axle conversion to this. So it takes out the 9-inch in the back and the Dana 44 up front, and puts in it's 2005 and newer spring or coil spring axles out of the Ford Super Duties. And that solves a couple different problems. First off, it solves a strength problem. As I build horsepower here, it solves that problem. It also solves gearing problems. The Super Duties probably come with the 373 gears. With this, that's going to be perfect almost with the tire combo that I'm going to do. The 400 is really good at the low end torque. So a bottom end, I won't need 411s or 456 gears. At least that's not the plan. The plan is to hopefully find a set of axles, matching axles, that with the 373s. That's the plan. We'll see if I can swing that. But so it solves, in theory, the gearing issue, but it also solves the stopping issue also. So I'll be able to upgrade to, already gonna have the calipers, the disc brakes on that, and the kit that I'm gonna go with. You can also get the new master cylinder for the Super Duty axles and everything else. So it solves a bunch of problems. The kit that I'm going with, or at least right now, is called Battleborn Brakes out of Oregon. It's not completely bolt on, but it does, I think it's something like 95% bolt on. So and it basically moves the upper perches for the coil springs out, and so it matches up with the Super Duty spring mounts on the axles and solves all that. Same on the back end with the leaf springs. So that's the theory. I'm going to need custom drive shafts anyway, regardless of what I do, because of what I'm going to do with the transfer cases. And that's going to be subject for another video, but I'm basically a twin stick that. So it's going to be you can bolt two different transfer cases together and get ultra low gears down to 4-to-1 ratio. So all the way up to 1-to-1 as well. So so that's what I'm going to do with the transfer case. So regardless of what I do with the axles, I'm going to need custom drive lines anyway. So I figured, why the hell not? Let's just do the Super Duties. So anyway, that's the engine compartment. It's a pretty well stock. I think this is an old Carter. Yeah, this is an old Carter 4-barrel. I know I looked up the numbers, and I think this was a, man, I'm going to say it was a 750. but I'm not sure. 750cc. But the only thing I've done to it, new plugs, new wires, new rotor cap, new rotor, and a new cap. That's the only thing I've done just to get this thing up and going. Other than that, this is basically how I bought it. I didn't even I didn't even clean the engine bay yet. So yeah, so there we go. All right, now for the interior. Obviously, first thing to address is going to be this door. This is a repop door. I don't like them. They're thinner metal. I do have a couple other doors. They need one of them needs a little bit of work on the bottom. The bottom end is rusty a little bit, but that's not a big deal. I don't need to reskin the whole door, but I am going to replace this with an original Ford door and be done with this, because these are kind of flimsy. But anyway, all right. So the interior. This is a Ranger XLT. So I can't even believe it's red. This is what they came with. So you know, it's wore out. I mean, seen some miles, but for the most part, everything is original. They did put a little gauge pod in there, water pressure or water temperature, oil pressure, and then the vacuum again. So that is AC, all that. And the dash has a few little cracks in it here and there. I've seen some videos on how to address that, but we'll see if I end up getting another dash pad or trying to fix that myself. And here's the sunroof. So it has leaked. I did pull that off just because it was full of water last summer, and I was a little bit afraid that it was going to start causing some rust holes. This floor is solid. That's all just surface rust right there. Let's see if I can get a good view. I'll open up that door to get a better view at it. But the floors are solid. But we're replacing the carpet anyway. Now, yeah, that was actually in the bed of the F-150. So this is an old Street Master intake manifold for the 400. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's been when I rebuild the 400 for this thing, they do make some spacer plates so you can run Cleveland or even 351W intake manifolds. So that opens up a lot of options, and it's easily going to get me to the horsepower range that I want to. But I think I'm going to stick with a dual plane on this truck, just to keep that low end torque. And really, these 400s, I'm not going to scream it up to 6,500 RPM anyway. This is going to be a 5 to 5,500 red line, somewhere right in there, I think. And a dual plane is easily capable of that. I will probably run the spacer plates with the Edelbrock RPM air gap intake is probably what I'm going to do. That way it gets the air up off the engine. These things run kind of hot, and it does get up to 6,500 RPM. So we'll see, make some decisions. The engine's going to be subject of a different video. So, but everything in here is pretty much how I bought it for the most part. There's some trim pieces, things like that, that have trim piece to the back window right there. It's all in here. I mean, for the most part, this thing's in good shape. All these panels, I'm going to custom make the panels, the door panels as well. One thing I am looking into is I want to upgrade these seats. I'm probably not going to keep the originals. What I'm leaning toward is some late model Ford Explorer seats for the front. That way I get the power seats, maybe heating, cooling, maybe if I'm lucky. But the neat thing about it is I'm gonna have to do some more figuring and measuring. But I think the rear seat on the Ford Explorers is basically the same dimension as the rear seat here in the Bronco. So and I can't get them in a set. So we're gonna do some figuring. Again, that's gonna be a different video. That's much later as I get to the finishing this project. But that's kind of what I'm leaning to, upgrading the seats a little bit. getting power, maybe some air conditioned seats and heated seats, things like that. We'll see how it goes. But I am going to put a little bit of a roll cage in here as well. The Super Duty axle conversion is going to net me about 4 inches, and I think my target is to get 35s or hopefully 37s under this thing without going too crazy high. So it's going to be an all suspension lift, no body lift or anything like that. So, but anyway, so the interior is pretty solid. Again, the floors are good. I don't have to do the floors. Dash is pretty decent. Again, I'll have to figure all that out. I do have an extra gauge pod, basically to give me the alternator. That's just an idiot light. The new one has the actual gauge, but I may be upgrading this to more of a digital, or making a custom dash with the aftermarket gauges. You know, we'll see how all that plays out. But yeah, let me fire this up real quick for you guys, because everybody's going to ask anyway, right? Oh. So here we go. There we go. It's cold. This thing has a mechanical. Actually, I don't think the electric choke is working on this, but it does run pretty good. Once it warms up, it settles down into about a 800 or 900 RPM idle, just as it is. I haven't screwed with it too much, so it does take a little bit to warm up, but yeah, it doesn't like it. It's a little cold, but you know, the gauge pod, water's, I mean, we haven't heated this thing up, so the water temp's down, oil pressure is good, and the vacuum is reading like it should as well. So anyway, the reason why I did this was to pull the door down, or the back glass. Check that out. Everything works. It's pretty cool. So since we have that, let's go pop this open real quick so you guys can see the back. Oh, here's that other pod. We'll see what we're gonna do with that. There we go. So here's the back, and this floor is all good. I did check that out. Unfortunately, both of the cables, I gotta be careful because the cables are not, they rotted off. So here's the back of the tailgate. So not too awfully bad. I mean, yeah, there's some issues to address, but again, I don't actually have to replace the tailgate, which is awesome. And we do have the original compressor, but I'm going to be upgrading this to the R34. I don't even remember the R34 coolant, and got the little things. Oh yeah, the original OEM stuff. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, so not too shabby, I don't think. Not bad for $1,000 anyway. They've been trying to buy this thing back from me ever since. And they're not getting it, and they know they're not getting it. Every time we're horse trading, buying other stuff, it's like, oh, we'll throw the Bronco in and we'll give you half price. Nope, this thing, I'm gonna get buried in this thing, I think. So anyway, let's get this thing back. Hopefully I'm not a liar and this thing rolls back up. There we go. Perfect. All right. And since we got the doors open, there's a little bit of an issue we got to address on the driver's door, not the passenger's door yet. So everything's pretty good here for the most part, all the way around until you get right here. And this might be a challenge to fix. They do make this as a patch panel, the lower corner here. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to order this anyway, because to do this right, you actually probably have to pull the side off, and I really don't want to do that. What I'm hoping is I can drill out some of these spot welds along here and just pull this out enough to fix this. It's not rusty on the backside, it's just this one hole here. But unfortunately, as you guys know, stuff like this, once you start digging into it, it gets worse. So I'm gonna go ahead and order this piece anyway, just to have it. They're cheap. I think it was like 30 bucks for, it's this, let me zoom out here. It's this whole piece right here. It's one piece that they pop. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna order it, that way I have it if I need it and I don't have to wait, and I can just start addressing this. But this is probably going to be the worst part about this whole truck, at least as far as the body is concerned. The wheel well patch panels there, not a big deal. This may or may not be a big deal. We're gonna find out. Hopefully later this summer, or later this spring is my plan. But anyway, all right, let's get the passenger door open. The other side's much better. All right, so here we go. So everything's pretty decent, no surprises here. And again, these diamond plate running boards, they save your bacon. So this is how the other side's supposed to look. This is not rust. This is just some, some flaky from probably it sitting, and just water dripping down from here is pretty normal. Drips down off the rain gutter here, and then kind of follows this all the way down and starts rotting down in here. But this is all good metal. It's just surface rust. The paint flaked and that. So this is the part that I had to take from the sunroof. That water was dripping down here, and I was really afraid that was going to start causing a problem, and it could have. But it's all solid floor, a little bit of surface rust here, some flaking, but the floor itself is all solid. So torque boxes on the other side are good, all that good, so I kind of lucked out. But the other side, the driver's side, looks just like this. Pretty solid floors for the most part. Well, not for the most part, they are. But yeah, so that's this is the color that it was originally. You can see the fading. There's floor mats in here somewhere, but that's the original color. Pretty cool, huh? Crazy how, what, 20 something years of, no, more than that now. 79, so what, 40 years of sun fade does to your carpet. But all that's coming out. I don't know if I'm going to go with a rubber floor mat. Haven't decided if I'm going to repaint the interior and stick stock, or if maybe I'll do a Linex, or maybe I'll even do the what is it, the home base Herculiner, or whatever they call them now. I haven't decided, so we're going to get to there. The next step is to yank all this carpet out. I want to address a couple things here. Let me jump in again. The immediate issues are the heater and AC. Obviously the AC doesn't work because there's no compressor, but the temperature on the warm to cool setting is locked, and I don't know if it's the cable or if it's the airbox itself. It's probably the airbox, more than likely, which is going to be a bummer because it means I have to take it all off. But not a big deal. I mean, these trucks are pretty easy to work on. So, but I want to get that working first. The AC part, that'll eventually get fixed, but that's low hang. I mean, that's not a big issue for me right now. I'm going to get this thing fully operational before I start digging into everything else. So first thing is to get the thing running right. I think it has the electric choke on. I can't remember. I don't want to go around and check, but I think it might have, I don't know. It either has the electric or the manual choke. I'm not sure. But we'll find that out, get this thing running right, as right it is going to be, since I don't know what has been done to this thing. We're just going to maybe take the carb off, do a carburetor rebuild, or put a different carburetor on. We'll see, but get the thing running right first, address the AC issue, or not the AC, I'm sorry, the temperature issue, which is probably the heater box. Stereo works, but I only have one speaker, and that's in the passenger door over here. And the other speaker is actually right there. This is the driver speaker right here. But yeah, I got that other door to replace the driver's door, so that'll be a different video. I'll talk about it then, but that's going to get done first, and then just make sure everything's working, and then we're going to start digging into this thing and actually doing what I want to do to it. We'll see. See how it goes. But anyway, this is the truck, or one of them. The next video will be the 77 F150, which is almost exactly like this, as OEM. That one is as OEM as you're going to get for, I won't say it's a barn find or anything like that, but it was found under a tree just down the road, and that's the one I paid $1,400 for. And you'll see that one still has the original carburetor, the original intake. That one, I think the only thing that I needed to do that, besides the plugs, wires, rotor, and cap, was the ignition control module. That one did need to be replaced because it was toast. It wasn't functioning at all. But this one is not bad. You don't see stuff like this very often. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this sunroof issue. If I should just go ahead and take that other roof panel and make this solid, or fix this one, or order a new one. I think if I do anything, if I keep the sunroof, it's going to be ordering a new one, because I think finding parts for this is going to be a bitch. But other than that, yeah, this is the truck. This is project one. Well, this is the project one for you guys anyway. We've got a bunch of other project ones in the shop, but we'll see. So yeah, let me know, comment down below on what you would do with this thing, you know, and let's talk about it. And we're going to go through this whole build together. So this pretty much, I know we're going on 40 minutes at this point, long video, but I wanted to do this all in one shot, and not do multiple stops and starts and edits and all that kind of crap. But yeah, so this is going to be a fun little project. I've been wanting this Bronco for a long time, and I've been waiting to start it to when I could do it justice, and hopefully I can get going on it this summer. I'm not going to fool myself and think I'm going to get the engine rebuilt and the Super Duty axles under it this summer, but if I can get it operable to a point where it's you can drive it around town consistently and safely, then that I'm going to take that as a win. But I sure would like to get those Super Duty axles under it. But that's a big project, and I don't have a lift unless my buddy lets me use his. We'll see. My truck's on that lift enough as it is. Anyway, so yeah, like, comment, subscribe below. Let me know what you would do with this thing. And each stage we're going to make a video, and we're going to build this thing together. So yeah, I like sitting in this thing. I could sit in it all day long. All right, anyway, enough rambling. Again, comment, subscribe below. Keep in touch, watch the series. It's going to be an interesting one between this and the F150, I think. The F-150, I got some ideas for that one, and that one I'm not going to be asking too many questions about. I already know what I'm going to do with that. But this one, there's some things that I want to do, but we're up in the air to a certain extent. Anyway, all right, let's sign off this video properly. There it is. It's going to be a fun one. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and hope you stick around. We'll see you on the next video.